Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two. Thank you all for joining us for this 55th annual Scout and Scouter Memorial Service, especially under these not so pleasant weather conditions. Today we honor 27 individuals who dedicated a portion of their lives to scouting and who left us too soon. But each of them had an impact and left an impression. When a stone is dropped into still water, it creates ripples that reach far beyond the point of impact. That image has always stayed with me because it speaks so clearly to the kind of lives we honor today. Each scout, each scouter left ripples. Some of those ripples were quiet but steady, a kind word of encouragement on a campout, a knot patiently taught, a badge earned with effort and pride. Others were larger, leadership that shaped a troop, guidance that helped a young person find direction, or simply showing up year after year with quiet dedication. The beauty of a ripple is that it doesn't end at the edge of the pond. It moves outward, touching others, then others still. The lessons these individuals shared, the values they lived, trustworthiness, loyalty, helpfulness, continue to shape lives long after they're gone. That is their legacy, not just in plaques or photographs, but in the living water of memory, service, and example. As we remember 27 of our scouts and scouters today, we honor those ripples, and in our own lives we have the chance to carry them forward, to make ripples of our own. Let us be reminded, one life well lived can move the whole pond. I'd like to invite Troop 238 and Troop 163 to please lower the flag to half-staff.
Scout salute.
Scout salute. Two. Next, I'd like to invite Ryan LaRoche to read the Walker Memorial history, please.
This year marks the 55th anniversary of the dedication of the Ronald E. Walker Scouting Memorial and Walker Memorial Garden by Norman Walker to honor the memory of his son, who died in 1965 at the young age of 33. As a boy, Ron had been active in Troop 128 chartered to St. Joseph's Church here in North Brookfield. Because both father and son shared a love of scouting, and because scouting had brought them so close to one another, the idea for a living memorial to scouting was born. With Mr. Walker providing the design and supervision, construction started in late 1969. The life-size statue of the Boy Scout was carved in Vermont. It represents all members of the scouting movement, past, present, and future. In 2022, the Walker Memorial Committee undertook a major campaign to restore the Carillon chimes to the Walker Scouting Memorial. The new chimes were dedicated on June 3, 2023. The Heart of New England Council of Scouting America gathers each year on the Saturday after Memorial Day to honor the departed members of the scouting community.
Thank you, Ryan. Next, I'd like to introduce David Beausoleil, President of the Heart of New England Council, who's going to bring us a greeting from the council.
And thank you, everybody. I'm dry. You guys are not, so I'll be very quick. Good evening, everyone. I'm David Beausoleil, and I have the honor to serve as the President of Heart of New England Council and its Executive Board. It is my privilege to be here today to join you in honoring Scouts and Scouters who have left us in the past year. All of the Scouts and Scouters who went home this past year had different backgrounds, likes and dislikes. However, they all had one thing in common. They believed that scouting was a positive influence in the lives of young people. No matter what their role was in scouting, we are all equally important in providing a quality program. Their legacy of caring about our youth's lives lives on and will live on into the future. The impact scouting has had on each one of us can be traced back to caring volunteers, many of whom we have never met. Today we honor those we lost and say thank you to their spirit and to their families for allowing them to share their time, treasure, and talent in scouting. 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the sort of house I lived in, or the kind of car I drove. But the world may be different because of I was important to one child. All of those we remember today were important in the life of a child. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And now Timothy Josty Jr. will deliver words from the chaplain.
So this year I wanted to change up what I was thinking about, and I was trying to think about how people that are gone still affect us today. And not just in scouting, but in life. But I've realized that whenever I get in trouble with something, I can't remember how to cut something the right way, how to build something the right way, I pick up my phone still, though it's been 9 years, and try to call my dad to ask him. And I have found that with those I've lost in the scouting community, there's still at some point when I'm sitting around a fire, when I'm trying to teach a merit badge, when I'm trying to convince my son to go to National Jamboree, when I'm trying to do those certain things, I think back to the scout leader that and how they affected me. Now, whether they're a person who helped build lodges at East Lodge, whether they're a person who gave time as a leader, as a den leader for 1 year, 2 years, a council president, or whatever they were, there's some scout out there that's going to be in a situation and go, oh, what did they do? And they'll be able to teach that on. So that's the legacy of those that we have lost in our scouting community, is that they will always be remembered because at least one person besides their families that they've affected will say, oh, what did they do? and then teach that legacy on. If we could prepare for prayer as we see fit. First, I'll read Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And it wouldn't be fitting without a scout's prayer. We have hiked along life's pathway, our packs upon our back. We have pitched our tents and rested here and there along the tracks. We have used our compass wisely to guide us on our way and hope to reach the campsite of the great Chief Scout someday. We have tried to be trustworthy, kept our honor high and clean. We have been as loyal to any, to our country and our queen. We have done our best at all times, kept our promise, been prepared, and in hope our good deeds pleased him, when at last our souls are bared. We have lightened others' burdens with a smile along the way. We are kept our hand in God's hand, walk beside him day by day. And when our span of life runs out, we make this gentle plea, may we sit around his campfire at the final jamboree.
Thank you, Tim. And next, I'm going to ask Walker Memorial Committee member Michelle McCrillis and Walker Committee Chairman John Ebersol to read the memorial roll call.
Thank you. When you're ready.
Yep.
Ian Aylesbrook.
Ian was the husband of former East Brookfield Troop 238 Scoutmaster Christine Aylesbrook and father of two of Troop 238's Eagle Scouts, Ben and Adam. He will be remembered for his unwavering love and commitment to his wife and family.
Robert Bemis.
Rob was the son of longtime Scouters Jay and Jan Bemis from the former Mohegan Council. He embraced the values of Scouting at a young age, and he became an Eagle Scout in 1990 as a member of Worcester Troop 37. His dedication to service was evident throughout his youth, whether confronting a burglar at age 15, assisting a pedestrian hit by a car while on his newspaper route, or working as a lifeguard, where his life-saving efforts earned him the key to the city. Through his life, he remained true to the Scout oath and law, embodying loyalty, kindness, and integrity in everything he did.
Lorraine Corriveau.
Lorraine was an active member of the Champeau-Villandry American Legion Post 109 in Fiskdale for many years. She served as an advisor with the Sturbridge Police Department Explorer Post.
Carolyn Dinsdale.
From Millbury, Carolyn was a den mother when her son Scott was a Cub Scout.
Kenneth Dion.
Ken was a former committee chair for Grafton Troop 107 and the father of two Eagle Scouts. He was a member of the Worcester Fire Department for many years, and he was recognized with a Meritorious Conduct Award in 2012 for his acts of heroism in a structural fire in Worcester. In addition, he was a volunteer turned operations director for the Community Harvest Project in Grafton, which produces hundreds of thousands of pounds of fresh produce for the Worcester County Food Bank.
William Ebersold.
My brother Bill was an Eagle Scout from Hartford, Connecticut. He was a summer camp staffer at Camp Pioneer in New Hartford, Connecticut, which was owned by the former Charter Oak Council. He was also a member of the Nickaweegee Honor Society, which was one of several pre-Order of the Arrow societies that existed in the early days of Scouting. He was a man of faith and character. He was and continues to be an inspiration to me. If you have ever seen the Norman Rockwell painting Can't Wait, that shows a young Cub Scout trying on his older brother's scout uniform, that was me. I couldn't wait to follow in his footsteps. Rest easy, big bro.
George Hamilton.
George joined Troop 133 in Whitensville in 1941. In those days, the troop was given a small island by the Whiten Machine Works where they built a cabin to hold meetings and where they were able to canoe out and camp as patrols. He attended summer camp at Treasure Valley and he earned star rank before becoming an assistant scoutmaster with Troop 133. He joined Troop 101 in Northborough in 1979 and he remained active there for the rest of his life. His son and 2 grandsons became Eagle Scouts and he was an honorary life member of the troop. Altogether, George was involved in scouting for over 57 years. In addition, he was a member of the Scouters Lodge, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons in Holden. His son and grandsons are members of the lodge, carrying on the family tradition. Each year, the lodge donates funds to the council to cover the cost of producing the Walker Memorial Program.
James Hanlon.
James was a longtime scout leader from Troop 160 in Southbridge.
Eleanor Hardees.
The mother of longtime council registrar and volunteer scouter Dave Hardees, the mother-in-law of office staff volunteer Sue Hardees, and the grandmother of Troop 338 Eagle Scout Matt Hardees.
David Heck.
Son of longtime scout volunteer Bob Heck, who we recognized last year, David followed in his father's footsteps and became very involved in scouting, culminating in achieving the rank of Eagle. Throughout his life, David demonstrated a passion for serving others, especially veterans and the elderly.
Nancy Heck.
Wife of Bob Heck and mother of David and Heidi, who was a charter member of Explorer Post 73 in Worcester.
William Julian.
Bill was a committee member for Troop 160 in Southbridge. He was also a dedicated volunteer firefighter with the Southbridge Fire Department, retiring as a lieutenant.
David Kinnell.
From Troop 141 in Rutland, Dave became a beloved member of the Treasure Valley camp staff. The number of former staff members who responded to the news of his passing was overwhelming. Dave was one of the last COPE directors to run the original West Side course. He was also the first director of the New Adventures program, and he was instrumental in starting a kayaking program at Treasure Valley.
Roland LaPointe.
The father of longtime Treasure Valley staffer John LaPointe, he was Cub Master for Upton Pac 132 back in the 70s.
Adam Lemon.
Adam was a lifelong resident of Rutland, where he was an active member of Troop 141 for many years.
Edmund Markovicius.
Husband of Irene Markovicius, who used to work at the former Mohegan Council Scout office. They were involved with the Lithuanian Scout Association in Worcester, and they were responsible for bringing the Lithuanian Scout Jamboree to Treasure Valley several years ago.
Marshall Martell.
Marshall grew up in Holland, Massachusetts, where he was a member of Boy Scout Troop 8. He learned survival skills and began his lifelong love of mentoring. He embodied finishing what he started and, true to form, became an Eagle Scout.
William Matisse Jr.
Bill was a longtime resident of Sturbridge who was active in scouting while raising his family.
Calvin Moore.
Calvin was a lifelong scouter, starting as a scout with Troop 3 in Air. He spent many summers at Camp Winoxet as a camper, and with his father George worked to help improve the camp infrastructure. In his adult life, he was a member of the former Nashua Valley Council Executive Board for more than 30 years. He received the Silver Beaver and Distinguished Citizen Awards. His generosity and devotion to his community was exemplary, and he was an ardent supporter of the servant leadership style that Scouting seeks to instill in young people.
Calvin Moore. Oh, did I just?
Yep.
Yep. I do this every year.
That's okay.
Austin Shepper.
Austin was an Eagle Scout from Troop 161 in Sturbridge, whose Eagle project involved creating an observation deck at Old Sturbridge Village. He was elected by his peers to the Order of the Arrow, Scouting's National Honor Society. A gentle soul, Austin was committed to community service, and he was always friendly and helpful to everyone he met.
David Snay.
Dave was a longtime scoutmaster with East Brookfield Troop 148, who also served the town as an EMT and assistant fire chief. He assisted with setting up and taking down the tents at Treasure Valley for many years, and utilizing his skills as a builder, he helped construct the visitors' latrine in the McGee office building.
Kathy Stenson.
From Groton, Kathy was active in scouting with her son Greg. When her son's troop needed a leader, Kathy stepped in and led the troop for many years. She and Greg made multiple trips to Philmont Scout Ranch in Cimarron, New Mexico. She loved it there.
Matthew Thompson.
Son of Stephen and Kayla, Matthew was a Lion Cub Scout with Pack 150 in Northbridge. He was the grandson of Jack and Nancy Thompson, who are actively involved with the leadership of Pack 150. Matthew was only 6 years old at the time of his passing. Our hearts go out to his family.
Cachador Toromanian.
Catch was the first leader of Troop 48, sponsored by the Armenian Church of Our Savior in Worcester. He attended Treasure Valley with his troop, and he was a commissioner with the former Mohegan Council back in the 70s.
Leonard Vaudreuil.
From Shrewsbury, Lenny and his brother Alfred were scouts under their father's leadership. Lenny spoke often of his beloved Treasure Valley, where he was a camper and a camp counselor in his teens.
Robert Wall.
Bob was a committee member with Troop 116 in Spencer when his son Sean was a scout. A plumber by trade, he was a plumbing merit badge counselor. Rumor has it he helped the boys put metal edges on their Klondike sled runners, allowing them to edge out their competition.
Yeah, he would have done that. Stephen Witkowski.
Steve was a member of Troop 1 Bolton, where he became an Eagle Scout in 2004. After college, he moved to Loveland, Colorado, where he continued to give back to scouting by starting a Cub Scout pack. He was careful, caring, and thoughtful, appreciative and generous. He often helped those around him in small ways, never expecting anything in return. All of these individuals being recognized today and those we have recognized over the years are bound by a common thread involving their commitment to service to others. We thank them for that service. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle and John. Next, I'd like to invite Troop 238 and Troop 163 to go to the Carol on Chime and bring the wreath to the Scouting Memorial. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite Robert Laflamme, Walker Memorial Committee member, to deliver Scout Vespers.
Softly falls the light of day as our campfire fades away. Silently each scout should ask, have I done my daily task? Have I kept my honor bright? Can I guiltless sleep tonight? Have I done and have I dared everything to be prepared?
Thank you, Bob. Hunter Foote, Walker Memorial Committee member, will now play Amazing Grace. Thank you, Hunter. John Ebersold will deliver taps.
Please join me in singing Taps. The lyrics are in the program, second to the last page. Day is done, gone the sun, from the lake, from the hills, from the sky. All is well, safely rest. God is nigh. Far away, bugles play, sound the taps for the close of the day. Night has come, gone the sun, day is done.
Thank you, John. Now, we'd like to invite each of the units to send their flag bearer for presentation of streamers. Excuse me, one moment, please. I went out of order. Troop 238 and Troop 163, please raise the flag. Scout salute. Two. And a quick note, you may have noticed that our flagpole is now lighted so that we can fly the flag overnight. Now I'd like to invite the flag bearers from each of the units attending today to come to this side of the circle and receive your streamers. At the same time, if there are scouts who are attending today's memorial service for the first time, please come after the ceremony and receive a badge for today's presentation. How do you dismiss them? Just thank them for coming and. Yep. And what?
You want me to do that? Want me to do that
Why don't
at
you
the
do
end?
that? Yeah, that'd be great. That would be terrific.
You're over you, crib notes.
Oh, good. Okay, see,
I'm prepared.
that's what I did. I was prepared for the.
We got the beginning. We got this. Make a hell of a tune, John. We got this.
Pull up Roman's picture.
Okay, that's nice.
Huh?
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Whoa.
Just
Never a dull moment, right? I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for coming today. I'd like to thank all of those who participated and helped make today's event possible. 238 and Jason, Scoutmaster, Troop 163, and Bill Simpson for helping with the ceremony. And then I'd like to thank our participants, Ryan, David, Tim, Michelle, Hunter, Bob LaFlemme, Joe, Dave, Ken, and at the last, I'd also like to thank Edie for assisting with the bagpipes. That was very cool. And I'd also like to thank the Scouters Lodge again for their donation to pay for the program. A special thank you to 238 who came out week before last to spruce the place up in preparation for today's event. They did a very nice job with the cleaning up and the plantings and so forth, and cleaning the statues and so forth. So that's a really worthy service project, and we thank them for that. Yep, I got that. I'd also like to thank the folks from the North Brookfield Cable Access who were here at 1 o'clock in the pouring rain to set the equipment up and talk about above and beyond on a day like today. That was unbelievably worthwhile, and we thank you again for your service to this organization and to this event in particular. Corey, Jake, and the rest of your team, huge thank you. Maybe we should give them a round of applause for that one. I'd like to thank the town of North Brookfield, the Cemetery Commission, the families and friends, Scouts and Scouters who are here. And I'd like to remind you that we hold this event on the Saturday after Memorial Day every year. So next year, the date will be May 30th. To reiterate what Joe said, first-time Scouts who are here, we have patches. So if you'd like to come see me after the ceremony, we can take care of that. And also family members, we also have a special commemorative patch for you to help with remembering your loved one. With that, we'd like to. What did I forget? Yeah, and in the interest of getting people out of here under these conditions, we are going to forego the Cracker Barrel today. Typically at this time we go up to the shed in the back, but because we weren't sure what to expect weather-wise, we opted not to do that today. So if I could ask take over the procession and lead the group out. That's relevant